Hi everyone, I'm Tommy TARDIS, and welcome to Tommy's Universe. Hi everyone, I'm Tommy TARDIS, and this is part 2 of Who versus Who. Yeah. I'm joined by my Timelady again, Liz. How are you, Liz?
Oh, I'm quite all right, actually.
Yes. I see you've added some extra Doctor Who-ness behind you.
Yes, I do feel like I was lacking before, so I just want to make sure.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Well,
I'm worse because all my stuff is like on that side of the room. I need to start putting it behind me. But
to be fair, I did move this stuff from where it normally is to here about 5 minutes. About 5 minutes ago. So
more prepared than me. Right. So what we're going to do again, everyone, is basically do our group B for the battles of Who versus Who, and the last episode, you can see there's a link right below now. You can click on that if you haven't seen that one. Best to watch that one first before this one, then you understand what's going on. Right. For this week, we have our first battle, Liz, is Hydroflax versus the Veil.
Yes.
Oh.
It's an interesting one. That
is the most interesting one.
I think one of the things that's interesting is that, like, you could see a world where he at some point needed to confess being the person that he is. Like, you can almost see him being there, but I'm afraid one of them's out fire powered the other one in this one.
It's true. The Hydroflax I'm going for when the Hydroflax has a head. So it's not more scary computer desperate for a head.
Yeah, in the infographic you had the one with his head on it, so I assume.
So yeah, the thing with the Veil is it's very slow.
Yes.
Very slow. Like Hydroflax can go away and come back many times.
And he can't and Hydroflax can't get tired.
No, it's
like
true.
Last time we talked about, like, eventually, the landlord is going to get tired because he's an old man.
That's right.
But we're not going to come across that here because he's definitely cyborg legs.
Yeah, he can actually take a nap, and the machine itself can just carry on going, doing what it wants to do.
They have that problem. I mean, we still have a Veil that's another one of these ones that's relentless, that just keeps coming. But in the end, I mean, even it would have to catch him and touch his face.
Yeah.
And so it's just
and also if it's in that room without any doors or windows, it's a plain room, like you said before. Hydroflax.
You're going around in circles until the other guy turns around and shoots him.
Yeah.
And he's a construct, so he's just gonna fall to bits.
That's true. Because if the Veil was in its own, environment, like obviously it knows all the way around. That's the idea of the landlord again. it's the surroundings helps them.
Yeah, he needs to have home ground advantage.
Yeah. So yeah,
and also because it's his own reality, I don't think that the firepower of Hydroflax would work the way it's supposed to in the confession dial. So yeah, I think once you take the veil out of the confession dial, like there are things he could go up against, but not something that could just shoot him to bits.
No, that's true. I think definitely Hydroflax will probably shoot the veil straight away when you hear that bell in that room of no doors and no windows because really the veil is not really, it's a straight, I don't know what it is. That's the thing. It's made by the Time Lords. It's just something to be,
it's just described as a construct.
Yeah.
And if I'm pulling from other sci-fi things to know or fantasy things to know what a construct is, I'm thinking of like D&D constructs, where basically it's enchanted components to have a sentience.
Yeah.
So it's just components.
Ticking clock. Yeah, that's what it is, isn't it? It's
and it has a consciousness because it has been, in fantasy terms, enchanted, but it's not robust.
Cool. Well, I agree. I think for this round, I think Hydroflax would have win.
Yeah.
Would won. Yeah. So
I think
the veil.
It would be short. It would be very short.
Bye veil. I'm afraid you have lost this match, and Hydroflax, you are going through the next round.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. Round 2. The second battle.
Yep.
We have a Zygon versus the Mire. There we go.
Mire, I think.
It's my dyslexia.
Like being stuck in the mire, I think is.
That's right. And just to recap, the Mire was in an episode where they introduced were there Vikings or something, or like a Viking town.
They were in a Viking village.
That's right.
And the mire needs to feed off of adrenaline and testosterone, but it does that by basically making a milkshake out of creatures, so you can get the testosterone and the adrenaline out of there. And
with a Zygon, obviously it can morph into different things or different species. Basically, it can obviously be seen the Zygon.
Yeah.
Was it? I think it was the anniversary episode with David Tennant thinking it was a bunny or thinking it was a horse, or different things like that. But can it turn into like a like a robot or something?
No, first of all, the mire is a creature in there.
Yeah.
So it does like was that like lamprey kind of thing with the teeth. So like it's a creature.
Yeah.
And because all the people, like the humans that we've seen them turn into, are all wearing the clothes that they're supposed to be wearing, I'm assuming it can.
Yeah. Because like with Clara with her bracelets and a watch or something like that. Yeah.
But I was actually talking about this with my mom, like you do, and I was asking the question, when a Zygon becomes another thing, what is that thing made of? Is it made of the things that the thing is made of, or is it made of the components of the Zygon being made into the thing? Because if it's the components of the Zygon being made into a thing, then the mire is instantly fed when it becomes them, because they're full of testosterone and adrenaline.
That's true. That's very interesting, because one other thing, like obviously Zygons like keeping their prey alive, like or gooed up in some spider webby goo, whatever.
Yeah.
Just to keep the image, isn't it? Just to keep the image fresh. So maybe that helps with the materials as well. Like,
Okay.
that's what I think. Like, and I think I don't know what episode it was. I believe something happened in a way of the doctor said something like, "You've lost, you haven't got the fresh image anymore, so it's failing on the
Yeah.
appearance, only
Yeah.
slightly."
Yeah. The Zygons are not creative. They have
Yeah,
to do a copy.
because the personality as well. Could that happen with the with the two Claras? Because she was changing completely because she was turned into her Bonnie character, her
Yeah.
personality or her Zygon inside her. If you remember.
Yeah. And that, and like when they
Yeah.
had that big thing where he erased everybody's memory, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
they had to think like
Yeah,
themselves.
their appearance, like
Like,
what they are, they're human or not, they have no idea.
Mhm.
So all that into take, I
Yeah.
think this battle would be very, straight away, ding that bell. They would attack each other straight away.
Oh
Zygon's
yes.
got loads of, loads of, you know, battle experience, and the warriors at the end of the day as well.
Yeah,
So the Maya,
they're absolutely
they're
warrior
both
race.
warriors, the Maya as well. So
Yeah.
oh, I don't know. That's really
Well,
tricky.
I think so. And I was thinking that I think the thing that's going to clinch this,
Mm-hmm.
at least as far as my understanding of how these things work, I think the fact that the Zygons shoot electric bolts are going to fry bits of the
Oh, that's true.
Myers stuff. I think that's probably unless there's like a massive plan of infiltration that they can go through. If it's just them attacking each other, I feel like
I think and Zygons are quite quick, and also if it can morph into different things.
Yeah, because at first you think like, oh, poison barbs. You're not going to get inside the mire with poison barbs, but then once you start shooting electrical bolts, I feel like isn't the armor on the mire electrical?
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, I think because how they got defeated were by what's the
electrical eels and the
eels, weren't they? Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I definitely believe then Zygon would have.
Yeah, the Zygons I feel like are gonna, the same way that the Doctor defeated the Mire. I think that's how
by electricity. Yeah,
the Zygons are gonna bring this one home.
Brilliant. I think I agree with that 100%. So Zygon, you have won this battle. Yay. So the Maya, unfortunately, you're going back to the Maya. All the best. And sorry, Zygon, you're going through.
All right.
Now we go to round 3.
Yeah.
This is going to be the Foretold versus the Boneless.
Now, this one, I'm wondering, because like the Foretold is out of phase, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
How does, because that, I mean, in reality, that's nonsense. There's no like basis for that. So like, I don't know how that works. So I'm wondering if the Boneless being a 2D creature, is that phased differently than...
It lives in a different dimension, in a way of in reality, like both their realities are completely very strange, aren't they?
Yeah.
But or maybe that's something, if the Boneless was obviously trying to get into our reality in our dimensionals, and you never know, you could have in the past or in the future now look at another dimension, look another reality it wants to go into.
Yeah.
And obviously it takes the environment is obviously researches on somebody.
Yeah.
To become somebody, like they're trying to become human, aren't they?
Yes.
Through that episode with the Boneless in.
Mm-hmm.
And So we don't really know what they actually are. That's another thing. We don't know what they look like, really.
But they do actually both of them in a different way drain energy.
That's
So,
true.
like the boneless was able to drain some energy from the TARDIS being extra dimensional. But also the foretold, that's how they kill people.
Yeah.
Is they drain their energy. So they're in a way they're a bit similar.
Yeah, they are.
And I think that if we're gonna go with the phase thing being dimensional phasing, then I think that we're gonna end up with at least them actually being able to fight each other.
Because the photo can
Which is
only
not
it gets the reason why it is what it is. It has it's a relic, you remember, as well. It has a relic. So the relic has to be present in this room if you think about it. Has to be there because it's like if it was on the train. If that relic wasn't there, it wouldn't be going around on the train.
If we don't have that scroll, then we're not.
So that's what I'm thinking. Like that could be a disadvantage because the boneless could interfere at some point.
That's true. Because they can turn things into 2D, not just people.
Yeah.
So if they did attack the scroll, then you would be looking at him just not being able to function.
Yeah, he would cease to exist in a way, wouldn't it?
Because it's his old combat stuff that's making him do it in the first place.
So that's the only way I think how it would go down. It's to do with the downfalls of the foretold having, like you said, that scroll with him, that relic scroll, the like.
Yeah.
Because obviously he doesn't defend it because he doesn't know about it really. I don't think because it's just like a curse, isn't it? Like.
Well, it's sort of a programming.
Yeah.
And he has to keep fighting because that's
all it knows.
He needed their soldiers to do.
Yeah. So I think the boneless eventually by turning things into 2D and 1D.
Yeah, I think once they tested out because once again we're for doing one, it's 1-to-1. I think that the one boneless, once they've tested about a bit, is gonna probably just gonna get rid of the scroll.
Dissect the whole of yeah,
and then it's gone. It's destroyed.
That's right. And I believe the bonus would have completely do that. Right. So I'm afraid foretold. You're foretold. You're gone. Sadly, and the bonus you have won this round. You're going through. Well done, bonus. Yeah.
And unlike last time, we definitely have like at least one person from each column.
You know what? I'm looking at it now. I'm very proud to have one side.
Yeah, it's like it's over there.
Right, the next round, we're flying through this one. This is my favorite one. So on this group. So it's going to be the Great Intelligence versus the Weeping Angels.
Yes.
Weeping Angels are my favorites.
They're a very good monster.
Yeah, and they were created Stephen Moffat, I believe.
Yeah, Stephen Moffat wrote Blink.
Yeah, and he has one in his garden apparently.
Oh, does he?
I've seen on his Instagram. It's quite funny.
If Tom, if you could, you would, wouldn't you?
You would, wouldn't you? You'd be really proud
if you had that option.
Yeah. You'd be proud of that moment.
Yes.
And the Great Intelligence, right? It's a bit of a obviously I've shown that picture of that guy from the Christmas special with the snowman. Yes. But obviously the Great Intelligence is not that person. It's more of It's I don't know what it is. It's more was it
how did the second Doctor described it? I'm trying to remember what he said about it.
Yeah.
Because he describes it.
It's like an intelligent.
Yeah, it's an intelligence, but it doesn't. have its own corporealness, and so it can actually inhabit dead people.
Bit like a virus, really. Like sorry to say, but it's like something that take over.
He's a consciousness that can take over.
That's airborne in a way, probably, or like that'd be
but it is dimensionally settled. Like it can't, like you have to move it from dimension to dimension. It can't just do that on its own. And it's around.
It's around.
I rewatched this week. I rewatched Web of Fear, the Second Doctor story with.
That's good. I like that. I saw that one a couple of years ago. I mean, I need to look back. I'm gonna put a start again from the beginning.
I would have watched the Yeti one, but that one doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
However, I will say I read the book.
Oh,
they made a book of the script, and I've read that.
Oh, that's cool. A book.
I have the basic knowledge.
You can buy that book now, then, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Cool.
I've had it for probably 7 years. I mean, it's been around. Incidentally, if you want a Doctor Who recommendation on books,
brilliant.
Scratchman, which is based on an episode of Doctor Who that was written by Tom Baker, fantastic, really good, really like old school vibes. Like it gives you the nostalgia. It was written while he was working with those companions, so like the companions are like spot on writing wise. Like it's really fun.
That's good.
Recommend that. Anyway, great intelligence and weeping angels. Sorry to digress.
Wibbly wobbly there.
Yeah, we're a bit, we're all over the place. But so he's more of a consciousness.
Yeah.
That takes on so I guess
it's very, because obviously the weeping angel, we obviously know we don't know too much about it, really. We know like it's funny, we know quite a lot and don't know quite a lot about the weeping angels.
Yeah, there's the quantum lock aspect.
Yeah, because they just zap you back in time and they feed off that, don't they?
But I mean, so the intelligence has to inhabit somebody to even observe them, though.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have eyes.
That's the thing. That's
in that sense. But also by not having a body, they can't send
and
him
also
back.
the whole dormant thing about an angel, like it has to be observed to stop it exists, really, isn't it? Because it just goes into a statue. So that's another strange
it's hard to see how they would even be able to attack each other.
No,
because if he on his own doesn't have form, then they can't send him back. But if he doesn't have form, he can't observe them.
And you remember the Trenzalore episodes with Matt Smith when they go into his grave, basically the Doctor's grave, and he turns up the great intelligence, and he turns up with other beings that look like him, but they're wrapped up in like a mummy type of look, don't they? They have no face or anything. They're just but they have like that hat, and they look from that period. Like we don't know how he brings, like how does the great intelligent would bring, because they just appear, don't they? And he just appeared out of nowhere. Like, but
he doesn't,
we never know how he got to that
previously
planet.
Like he controlled robot Yeti and things. Like
from that other episodes back in the classic, was that on, where was that base? Where were the great intelligence? What, like
both of those Patrick Troughton stories were set on Earth. One in Tibet, and one in must have been London. It was in the underground. So and that's the one where the intelligence started putting himself. Maybe this is the answer, because he started putting himself in that webbing. And like that's how he captured the.
Eventually, was able to go different places. Yeah. I was thinking how he got there. Yeah,
but I'm wondering, like that webbing stuff, like is that like akin to the sort of covering that the the other hymns had.
Yeah, like, it could be. It's very strange, but how it can summon something like from his
Yeah.
past, because obviously in the one with the shard building in,
Yeah.
with the when we saw, I think it was Clara's first episode as the normal Clara.
Yeah.
And with the motorbike in. Great. I love the motorbike
Yeah.
scenes. And how the great intelligence was just a video screen
Yeah.
talking to somebody. And obviously it's gone to the digital age and saw
Yeah.
that as an advantage. So I'm thinking like it can adapt so much because it's learning so much. So, but it to go against a statue, I think because obviously the intelligence won't be intelligent enough to understand that's not just a statue.
Yeah.
Because I believe the great intelligence now, if it's in that room and look and like if it's in a body, if it's in that body like form,
yeah,
and comes just looks in the room and there's a statue there,
yeah,
he thinks it's just a statue, like a lot of humans do, like
yeah, and turn his
like
back
blink
on
and
it.
everything.
But because he's not bound by mortality,
yeah,
he can just come back.
That's the thing. Yeah,
like, he can just wait and come back.
Because
honestly, he'd be an excellent food mine for angels, reaping angels, because
that's true.
If they could have him keep coming back,
yeah,
like, he always would have had those extra years.
And the same with the weeping angel. Like I haven't seen one been defeated on its own. I can't like.
Yeah.
That's another.
No, you have to end up with them like looking at each other.
Yeah. So like, it's a strange one. That's a strange. Like with the weeping angels, like if you remember the episode with the end of time, I think with David Tennant, when Gallifrey was coming back,
Yeah.
the sound of drums was playing from the master, gave the signal. So they all came back. And you had the lady that we kept seeing. We'd never know what she was.
Yeah.
Linked to the Doctor or how. There's some fan theories all around the internet, but they herself and another person came into that room posing like a weeping angel.
Yes.
Because they would kept doing this all the time.
Yeah.
Like they're crying, like.
Yeah. Didn't they imply that they were going to become weeping angels? I feel like that's something they actually implied.
I've never seen it. I can't really say what episode if that happened, but like.
Yeah. I can't go back and watch every episode. I don't have that kind of time.
But like that never cleared up after that. I know that was Russell T Davies era, but we did have the weeping angels before. We know that exists, before that happening. But it must be a thing that could touch up in the future, or just keep the fans thinking it.
Yeah.
Making our own ideas out of what could happen. But so the weeping angels, they can, we've seen them throughout time in different places.
Yeah.
We don't know if they can travel themselves through time, but if they're just a statue being like, they would have to like leak through the crack, that the crack in the wall.
Yeah.
I think after that moment, they've all gone everywhere. That's what I believe, because they all got sucked into it. Remember, in that Matt Smith one. So
that makes sense.
Having their power, just basically, they are throughout history, aren't they? And the great intelligence, they're out through history.
Yeah.
So they have, a time on their side.
Yeah.
So it's like, so if they're in that room, no windows, no doors.
Yes.
Just one of those stupid fluorescent lights like you have in the kitchen coming on.
Yeah.
Bit of strobe action.
Make it creepy, you know. Might as well.
At some point, the Weeping Angel, how it defeats is zapping something back in time.
Yeah.
How the great intelligence, how they can defeat is taken over the other that intelligence of that person.
But also in his case, it's a temporary victory if you send him back in time.
Yeah, but I think.
I mean, he'd be annoyed, but you could do it over and over again.
Yeah, it would be, and it's quite funny. Like, you never know, that could have happened in Doctor Who. We wouldn't have known.
Yeah, and if the Doctor wasn't involved, how would we know?
Yeah, like they could have had their own spin-off. That'd be really cool. I think the Weeping Angel would win this round just because it has a great defense mechanism of just keep zapping you back in time until you die out. And I know the great intelligence can never die, really. We've never seen it die, but it could die. Like, can it die?
But if he doesn't have a body, there's no way for him to stop them doing anything because you can't.
But in a round though, like we don't have to say any of these would kill each other. Like, it doesn't have to be a death, I don't think. Just because otherwise we won't get through this.
Yeah, because there's no when you come up against immortal creatures.
Yeah, we've got many to go on another episode after this. You might laugh.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but in a round of no windows, no doors in that room, I believe Weeping Angels would succeed just because all they have to do is that. Yeah, just have to be in contact with them. I
agree, and I think that anytime that he got himself a body, like if they did it over and over again, like if he got himself a body to try to combat them, like they could send him back, and and if he doesn't have a form, then he can't stop them doing anything. So I think that this is the most tenuous one, but I feel like that's the only conclusion that we're going to be able to come to.
Yeah, Weeping Angels, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Well, the great intelligence, unfortunately, we're going to say goodbye to you. And Weeping Angels, or the Weeping Angel for this one, you have gone through to our next battles. Well, I'm quite happy with that. It's a very tricky one because, like you said, we're getting to a point where, some of these villains are not real. I know they're not all real, but in the world of in this like reality of it.
Yeah.
And it's good to have it's a bit of a mixture, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we've had going through, from the beginning, we got the Hydroflax, the Zygon, the Boneless, and the Weeping Angel. So
now, unless I'm misremembering last time, I feel like the Angels winning out is the first time we've had a modern monster beat an old school monster.
Oh, that's true. That's the first time for us now, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think that is
interesting.
I also think it shows how well envisioned the Weeping Angels are.
And like, it's a look at the draw when I, put these names in a hat type of idea. Like, it's quite interesting how they all got to be with each other. But
it's hard to see why the Intelligence and the Weeping Angels would want together. But
I think the great intelligence would love the Weeping Angels as a friend, as an enemy.
Oh yes, as an ally.
Flipping love it.
And I think that's a road that is still available to them.
Yeah, like it's the coolest thing.
Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you, Liz. Look at this. I'll say it's a quick round, but we got the idea of. I need to try and maybe draw a picture of the the room with no windows and no doors.
Oh, this room they're in.
Yeah. And maybe when we
each other
get
in
to
this room.
like other semi-finals and stuff, we can do the Hunger Games idea of just making it a bit,
Yeah.
a bit more fun. But thank you, Liz, so much for joining me again.
You know what? Like I said, you want to call me up and talk about Doctor Who, I'll definitely do that. That's
definitely do
and
that.
it's not a hardship in any way.
Well, thank you everyone for joining this week. It's goodbye from me and Liz. We see you next time in the future.